And we're live.
Hey guys, hey y'all, what's going on? This is the No Nonsense Podcast, everybody, and you guys got your host here on this July the 18th, July the 17th, pardon, 2020. I'm Naeem Abul Hawa, and we got our co-host here, Oscar Montiel. Oscar, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just chilling. Been a busy week. I know. I did post up on our channel earlier a few updates regarding, episodes. We apologize that we haven't been posting. It's been a busy week with the National Federation of the Blind convention going on this week, along with other. I have a religious um, convention to attend as well online, so I've been busy doing that. So we apologize that we haven't been posting content all this week. It's been a very busy week for the both of us, but we are here on Friday night. I do want to let you guys know, if you guys didn't watch my video earlier, that I ordered last night a microphone for my laptop, because I know that whenever we did recordings, Naeem, in the past, you said that my voice either gurgled or I sounded far away. So hopefully I will purchase a mic. Well, I did purchase a mic. Hopefully it will come in next week. I'm seeing that it may come in Wednesday. And in fact, Naeem, if you're available, I would like to do an open box type thing where I open the box, set the microphone up live. So we should definitely do that as a short clip. But other than
Sure.
that, today's topic, guys, is dreams. Um, and before we kick it off to our panelists, we're gonna do something different here today. So I brought it up to Naeem to make sure that this is a little bit organized, a little bit more organized than when we have other special guests. That we do it more of in a symposium type of way. So I guess we can start off with one person, then the next, and then the next, and then you guys, can speak. How much you guys think you can, talk, and then you guys can, we can open up for Q&A between the four of us. And yeah, that's how we're gonna kick it off. Naeem, do you have any objections?
No, I guess not. I mean, what objections would I have other than, hey, I want to talk more? But no, I'm messing around. I don't have any objections.
Okay, so for this episode, we have Naeem and myself, and we have Sarah Ahmed. How are you, Sarah?
Good, how are you?
Good. And we also have Zoe Joyner. How are you, Zoe?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. So with our introductions out of the way, who wants to start?
Naeem, how about you start?
So, I want to first and foremost say, dreams are an abstract topic. Everyone perceives, consumes, receives their dreams differently, and I think there is a lot to be said as to the experience of a dream, the pleasing experience, the nightmare experience, whatever it may be. But we all taste our dreams, see our dreams, smell our dreams, feel our dreams, experience our dreams, swim in our dreams. But everyone does it differently. So I think I'm going to start out with the question: how do we perceive dreams individually? And if you can talk also about your visual acuity, or where you stand as blind, sighted, vision impaired, however you'd like to identify, of course. So if we can start with Sarah, because I know, Sarah, you have quite an interesting story we were talking about off air, if you're comfortable talking about it here.
Sure. So I am seeing fully, and I think I have alopecia, where I think that's what it's called, where I can't like manifest images in my head. So if you tell me to imagine an apple, I know what an apple looks like. but I can't imagine an image of an actual apple in my head the way normal people could do. I actually didn't know this was. I thought everyone was like me, and so I've actually heard about it from like a TED Talk where they were like explaining the disease, and I'm like, hey, I can't imagine things in my head just like that. People can just see things in their head, just like how they can see it with their eyes. That just mind blew me. I don't really dream. I don't think I dream, at least. I heard that you might forget your dreams like a second after you wake up. I don't know if I just forget them, but from what I remember, I don't really dream.
That's really okay. Sorry, voiceover's talking in my way. There's Okay. Sorry. I had tested if I could put myself on speaker because I needed my phone to charge so it won't die out here. And I found out that voiceover is going to keep on talking and distract me and I'll lose
Just
focus, which isn't good.
you know what you could do is just put it on turn off your speech.
Yeah, I could do that too. Let me ask, when I was on speaker, did I sound further away? Did I sound
No,
more
no, you
muffled?
sounded
Did I
about the
sound
same.
Yeah,
No, you
about the
sounded
same.
about the same.
Okay. I'll set that up. So you're saying you can't create images in your head, Sarah. So I can't tell you, imagine that beautiful white sand beach in Jamaica with all the handsome, good-looking guys and all the fine young ladies partying and probably, you're in Jamaica, so they're smoking a joint, smoking a blunt of marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want to call it. They're sitting there sipping on rum. Jamaica, and I'm giving you all the details. The warm tropical sun. It's 88 degrees. You smell the ocean breeze. You smell the bay rum. You could taste the jerk spices in the air for the chicken jerk or the goat jerk or the seafood jerk or however you get it. I don't know if it's pronounced jerk. Maybe it's pronounced differently. And you're just there. You're soaking up the Montego Bay.
Well,
did you get an image from that?
No, so I know what a sand beach looks like. Like in my head, I can think of a sand beach and people there and partying. I can't smell it because I don't know if people can remember smells. Like actually smell what they're. Can they do that? Like, can you remember like a smell? Like
I
actually
can.
smell
Like
it?
I'm thinking of Jamaica right now, so I smell ocean breeze mixed with spices mixed with weed. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay,
That's just a
I
Jamaican
can't
smell.
remember smells then either. I didn't know. I can't. Like
Could
I
you
don't.
taste? Could you taste the jerk chicken?
I know, I don't know, I don't eat chicken, but if you told me to taste, like, imagine the taste of an apple, I would know what a taste of an apple looks like, but I can't taste it in my mouth. Does that make sense? So, like, when I read books, I know what they're saying, like, oh, and then, Angela opens the door and it goes to a secret universe. Like, again, I can logically understand what it
But you
is.
can't
And
hear the door opening in your brain. You can't hear it
no,
creaking.
and I can't. I mean, I know what creaking is, though. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just like I can't really like manifest it like image by image in my head, but I know what's happening and I understand what's happening.
OMG, that is so cool. So, do you have dreams at night and you just lose them, don't remember them, or you just don't have dreams manifest themselves
I mean,
at
I don't
night?
know, but I do. I have had. I mean, I remember certain dreams I think I had as a kid, but and I think some of them were actual dreams. I read somewhere when you have alopecia, sometimes you can actually just dream, like you can actually see what's happening and stuff. And I think that happened to me a few times, once or twice as a kid. Nothing that I remember very vividly, but nothing really in my adult life that I remember at all.
Wow. Wow.
That's interesting.
That is so cool. Man, I'm pretty sure you can pick up lots of folks by just telling them that story. That is amazing. Wow, that's so cool. Wow, you blew me away with that. I don't have any story that compares to that. I thought my dream was going to be the best that we hear. Zoe,
No, I'm
go ahead.
curious though, like how do you dream when you can't really see? So like I don't know, like when you dream, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but what you said in a podcast, you said you're really attracted to big, strong black men, and I was wondering, like in your dreams, do you imagine them as like people who are black? Like, do you know how that would look like?
Naeem,
Um,
you want to talk about that, and you're next with your symposium.
I suppose I could be. So I only have light perception, so I'm blind. Obviously, technically I'm not totally blind, but I'm blind enough to say I'm blind. People like to say vision impaired, visually impaired. No, cut out the fat. I'm blind, okay? Um, okay, as you can tell, I'm very anti political correctness. I'm not against being correct, but I am against, oh my gosh, I can't say this. This is going to be so mean. Do I say vision impaired? Do I say low vision? No. Everyone has a different opinion on that. You can identify how you choose. I identify as blind, so you best believe if you don't call me blind, you better start calling me blind. So anyway, I typically I'm in the same dimension when I'm awake, typically, like, there are sometimes you can tell someone is of a certain demographic group, if we want to use that as an example, or you can, by just having, basically filling in the stereotypical boxes. Like, oh, his name is Omar, and he's he talking like this one with big Arabic accent. In my dream, I'm gonna know he's Arab, but I can't promise you a certainty how exactly he looks. If he sounds tall or appears to be that his voice is coming higher than me, then hey, I know he's tall. If he sounds big and booming, then hopefully his body structure and physique matches his voice. I mean, then again, there's Ludacris. But I had one dream that really inspired this conversation between Oscar and I that was a very different experience. I think, I don't know that I want to get into that. Do y'all want me to get into that now, or should the next question be, what is the most memorable dream? What is y'all's thoughts? Because I gave you my general answer. Most of the time, I perceive dreams the way I perceive when I'm going
This
about
is,
life.
I mean, this is your time, so you might as well just go ahead.
Okay, all right. I'll give Sarah the answer to her question then. Now, really, the answer to her question. But I do want everyone to eventually circulate any dream that's most memorable to them. I had a dream. It was about this time a month ago. Maybe a little less. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. And it started out. So have you ever seen those movie films that you can see sort of the end at the beginning? Like they let you know. Yeah, they foreshadow. They let you know a little bit of what's gonna happen. Then they go back to the beginning. So I could already tell you from the beginning. I knew the stream was weird.
Oh, by
So
the
it's
way,
like,
I forgot. Your discretion is advised at this point because sometimes some of it is kind of a
yeah, some
little
of this dream
graphic.
is graphic. Some of this dream is graphic, and some of this dream may make some stereotypical implications that some people may think is racist. I don't intend it to be racist, but it was how I perceived that dream. And you asked me the question, how do I perceive the dream? And I don't perceive race, but I do perceive a dream. So this is how I perceive this dream. So it starts, and you hear like sirens, police sirens, fire sirens, whatever it is. I'm not sure. Wee, 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 whoop, you know what I mean? And I could tell there's a crisis going on, and I'm in the middle of this crisis. But I can somehow perceive visual effects. I can see the carnage all around me. I can see bits of shrapnel and glass and bricks and people running and pushing each other out of the way. And I didn't have a cane in my hand, but I had my good friend Oscar there. That's all how that dream began. Then I find myself, I think it's reversing back to the beginning or something. So I could already tell you on the offset that dream was really weird. I find myself at this party. It's a party where there's like bachata dance music going on or something, Latin themed dance, and we have some good music. I think I was hearing something kind of like Romeo Santos or something. It was a party event, right? And we're sitting here, and I remember clearly eating Peruvian food, actually, what Oscar's munching on dinner tonight, for dinner tonight, and it was really good. It was Peruvian style chicken. There was some yuca. It was a good time. It was me and Oscar. And I guess there were people passing around, I don't know, alcoholic beverages or whatever they do. And it was like, it wasn't an obscene party, but it was definitely one I wouldn't want my parents finding me at. Not because I was up to shenanigans, maybe I was, I can't remember, but more because the shenanigans were going on. You see what I mean? It's like wrong place, wrong time type thing. So, it was definitely a party scene. There were definitely people. I was twerking. There were other people.
Oh, great. Naeem died out.
Yeah. Maybe Zoe should go until he comes back in.
Yeah. Zoe, do you want to go ahead and go and talk about how you perceive dreams and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I would consider myself visually impaired. I have a vision impairment, so my eyes are fine, but it's a fair. Brain struggles to process what it sees. My vision is okay, but I can get a little cocky, so I don't. But I perceive dreams in color. There was this one dream I had when I was little where I was hopping through books, and then I told my mom, and I actually broke the book. And I don't know if you guys did like the flex programs in elementary school, but I was able to win an award for it. So.
Any memorable dreams that you would want to share?
I don't remember them any right now. It's like I wake up from dreams in the middle of the night, and I'll say I'll remember them, but I end up forgetting them. But it's like they're really graphic, and I get like emotional, and I think my body moves as I'm asleep, as I feel the emotions from the dreams. Yeah.
Well, I guess I can go. So Sarah, I know that you asked me off air, but to be a little bit more clear, so I'm also the same as Naeem. I'm blind myself, totally blind. I identify as totally blind. However, I do have light perception, meaning I can just know when it's either light or dark, either outside or inside the house. So sometimes to me personally, I like to have, lights turned off. And, there's always this running joke in my family that I don't need light, which is kind of true. And sometimes I do freak them out sometimes because sometimes I walk around downstairs or even upstairs with, when it's dark, like when it's dark out, I don't even bother turning on the lights because I don't need them. And sometimes I'm so quiet or I'm doing something and they hear noises and they don't know who it is, and when they turn on the lights, they either they're this close to screaming or close to having a heart attack because they're like, oh my gosh, why don't you turn on the lights? And I just because I don't need them, quite frankly. But the reason why I brought this episode up, I think I should have also brought that up in the intro. Brought this topic up was because my brother and I always have interesting conversations. Like between him and I, it can be dull sometimes, but when it's not, we just have the most interesting conversations. And he asked me one time when him and I were at work, just driving around, and he asked me, I know you're blind and everything, but in your dreams, do you see what's going on? And I honestly told him, I'm like, it's a little bit complicated to explain. So I'll try to explain it my way as best as I can. So I guess when I'm dreaming, I can see a lot of light. Like, I can see, like, again, because I don't see colors or anything, but I can see light and color in my dreams, if that makes any sense. And that's the best way I can describe it. That's the best way I could have described it to him. But I think I can feel the events coming, as I go through them or whatever. If I come in contact with someone, I guess I can feel their aura, I guess. I don't know if that if that's politically correct. So once that comes back on, we can ask him. But that's the way I perceive dreams. A few memorable dreams that I do have. I don't know if either of you two have had dreams where it starts out fine, but then you literally like fall like very deep, like you either like jump off a cliff or something like that, or you fall off a window or something like that, and then you just feel the fall sensation, and then when you wake up, it's just weird where you're like, oh man, I had a dream that I was falling. I don't know if you two have ever had that experience.
I've had dreams where I've woken up like in a sweat, but it's like I can't figure out what was actually happening in the dream. All I know is there's a
Yeah.
form of stress, but I can't pinpoint it exactly.
What about if you got, because I've had, whenever I'm like under the weather or whatever, when I was like, I rarely get sick, but like whenever I did, when you're sick, when I'm sick, my appetite is incredibly low. So sometimes, I would, not want to eat, but then it would come back to, haunt me later, because I'll tell you this one experience I had. So I had a very high fever. I think it was when I was in high school at some point that I had this dream, and again, my appetite was low, but I just needed something in my system, and it was like 12:30 midnight or so, or it was like 1 a.m. or something like that, and I remember like falling asleep, and next thing you know, I'm dreaming about eating different types of food. Um, and I was like, and I was enjoying it, stuffing my face. But then next thing you know, when I wake up, I'm hungry, but I'm also sick, and like I'm not wanting to, get up out of my bed with a high fever, go downstairs and get something to eat. So I literally like just dreamt about food all night long because I was, hungry, but wasn't feeling well enough to get up and feed myself.
That's really interesting.
I mean, do you guys have any interesting stories when you guys are sick and you end up like? I know this is a dream podcast, but again, I felt like I've had interesting things happen to me when I'm sick.
No, I don't really dream that much, so.
Similar, I don't.
So wait, so I think you guys said something really interesting. About like Naim mentioned that he dreams he dreams like he sees, like how in the world he senses like smell and stuff, and that's how he dreams. Like he doesn't see anything when he dreams as well. He just kind of imagines stuff. Is that how it's like for you too, Oscar?
Yeah. And sometimes, okay. So I'm gonna tell you what I always would do when I was a kid, according to my family. So when I was a kid and I recently lost my vision, what I would used to do was I used to touch people's faces per se, and that's how I would be able to identify people. Again, this is according to them because I don't remember this at all. Um, but then as I started when I grew up, I started to identify people by their hands because I would shake a lot of people's hands, and you know a fun thing that people would try to do to me is they would give me their hand to shake, but they wouldn't like say hi or anything to see if I could identify who it was. So I would, that's how I ended up, knowing people, and then also by their sound of their voice as well. If I can, let's just say, Sarah, you're like far away, and since I know how you're the sound of your voice, I would try to pinpoint with the best of my ability, um, where you are, and I would try to, go to where you are. So you see, and that's how I would, perceive, use my senses to the best of my ability. I don't know if that answered your question.
Oh, yeah, it does. It's really interesting.
Oh, by the way, Sarah, can you read the chat? I just don't want to stop the recording.
Can I what?
Can you read the chat?
Sure.
Because I think the.
Oh, that was me. I'm the one who sent the latest text.
Oh. Naeem
Saying
probably
I
is.
had to go.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well, do you
Was
have
it?
any other questions before you leave? I know that
No, I think this was really informative. I didn't think about how blind people dream before, so that was really interesting. And how you guys like indicate how far away someone is or and their direction by the sound of their voice is really cool. I
Well,
don't think.
that's the way I do it. Again, I don't know how Naeem sometimes is, and Zoe, you can vouch for this. He's a very slow person, but I was taught, as I was taught whenever when I lost my vision that I needed to familiarize myself with my surroundings, so that way I know where I am, where I need to go, and where I need to be.
I know for me, I used not so much people, but to know where I am. I use landmarks a lot. Um, I lost my vision when I was a baby, so I would have to ask my parents uh, if how I identified people change um, after I was 6 months. Um,
What is your eye condition, by the way, Zoe? I don't think I ever asked.
it's a cortical vision impairment. So I got it from a traumatic brain injury when I was 6 months. It was like a shaken baby.
Mm. Mine was also, well, it wasn't brain trauma. It was more of nerve damage. I guess I can divulge, what I've covered in previous episodes. So, I lost my vision due to I don't know to this day, and I don't know if my family knows the correct information. But when I was born with hydrocephalus, which is water in the brain. And usually when you have that, you need to treat that right away, which means you need to find like a shunt, what they call it, or a drain to, so that way the water doesn't overflow and, disrupt any of your nerves in the nervous system. But the story that I've heard is, I don't know if it was maltreatment or if it was malpractice. And the doctors were ignorant because, from what I understand, the first drain that they put didn't work out too well, and that ended up overflowing when I was 4 years old. It overflowed, destroyed some nerves, and in the process gave me a massive headache.
Okay.
I ended up getting a stroke.
At
To the
4?
point, yeah, stroke.
So that was where there was pressurized fluid forming in your brain. Is that what was happening, or was it
Yeah,
a
I
leak?
think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the full story.
Mm-hmm.
But let's for the sake of the conversation, let's just say that
Okay.
that killed the nerves. And I think in essence, so fun fact, when I walk, my left foot kind of doesn't have like, I don't have feeling in my left foot. So like I can't move my left foot. I can't wiggle my toes, can't do anything with my left foot. So I don't know if that was the cause of that as well, because I know that I also may have lost memory of seeing, because again, people, when I tell them this story, they automatically assume, or they ask, hey, do you remember seeing? Or I get like different friends that I guess when I was like 3 or 4, they're like, oh hey, how you doing? I have a question for you. Like whenever we would get deep into the conversation. I know that you used to see me when you were like 3 or 4. Do you remember seeing me at all? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Or they would ask me, do you remember seeing colors? And again, I don't know if it was, if due to that, I lost, memories of seeing, because all I can tell you that I remember is the color of my little brother's hair, which is golden brown. And that's like the only memory that I have. Other than that, I don't remember anything.
When I was younger, I used to be able to see really well the grass, the green of the grass. And I always used to also enjoy the sight of the orange that comes, I think it's orange color, that comes on the skin of a pumpkin. The brightness of a pumpkin. Yeah?
Naeem, can you finish the conversation that we were having? Because I think you died out, and then the three of us had to carry it. So you had a very interesting story too, and then you can divulge.
So as soon as I said boom, I noticed my phone died out. So when did I die out? Okay, let's start from the beginning for all the viewers who hadn't heard. Oh, sorry. Sorry, what was that, Zoe? I missed you.
No, you can just start from the beginning.
Okay,
and Naeem, you and Zoe and Sarah, if you're still there, need to carry the conversation, because I think my dinner's going to be coming up soon. So.
I'm getting some tasty Peruvian. You're gonna have to give us a full review.
I'm gonna probably mute myself and bring my dinner up here to my room. So.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. We need a full review of that food in a second. All right, because that's what happened in my dream. I was having Peruvian food. All right. So I already knew, as you guys know, I typically, when I see dreams, I just see them sort of in the light that I see now. In the light that I see, excuse me, pardon me. I had too much biscuits and gravy for dinner. They were real good, by the way. The biscuits were flaky and perfect. The gravy was on point. It had that thick graviness, but it wasn't like too unhealthy, and it was topped with some some amazing ground beef because we didn't have sausage available to us at the time, and oh man, it makes me go crazy. It was so good. The flakiness, the butteriness, those biscuits, you fall in love with them sometimes, you know? They're just out of this world amazing. Man, going crazy for biscuits right now. All right, so where were we? Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. So, I was drooling over biscuits there for a second. That was a little embarrassing. So I could already tell this dream was different. It wasn't like I typically see, right? It begins sort of like a foreshadow, right? And this is the I guess the advantage of going live. So sorry, I think I had lost track. So there was basically a for folks to better understand, there was a foreshadow of an event that was kind of an event of carnage, an event of, and by the way, I could see at a different level, in a different dimension than I typically can. It was very clear. Mind you, I must make it clear, my cane was absent. It was not there. I could see like what you would imagine a war zone would look like. I could see shrapnel. I could see like there was some sort of something had happened, glass everywhere. EMS, EMTs on the scene, fire trucks, ambulances. You can hear them. You can smell the tar fuel type smell. It was a mess. Then it kind of like goes back in time or something, or it switches scenes to a party type environment. It was, we were dancing some bachata or listening to some reggaeton or something like that. I remember it was like Romeo Santos, something like that. And we were enjoying Peruvian food. I remember the Peruvian style chicken, the yuca. It was all good stuff. Inca Cola too, I remember. But there were also some people consuming alcoholic beverages. You know, you could smell sort of like the beer in the air. You could feel the sweat of a whole bunch of bodies dancing hard. And somehow the music switches to some hip-hop twerking type music. Anyway, it was myself and co-star of this show, Oscar, in this environment. We were having a good time. I remember it for some reason specifically being in Springfield, Virginia. That was just knowledge I had in my dream. I don't think it was spoken knowledge as much as it was just knowledge I had, a detail I had in my mind of and at the time of dreaming this dream. It was, like I'm saying, oddly detailed. Then you have this massive release of pressure and a big boom. You could feel like it's an explosion, like the ground did shake, and you feel a release of pressure. And this big boom just basically pressurized the whole place. Then I think I kind of lose consciousness or something happens, but I'm still there, and then that scene shows up again, that scene of carnage that I described. You know, fire trucks, ambulances. I'm running around trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. And I'm talking to Oscar. I'm like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And funny enough, this was for some reason, I don't know why, a situation I did not want my parents knowing about. But I hear my mom in the distance. She's like talking to a cousin, an aunt, and they're just chatting, having a very casual conversation, and they are in a basically a different place, but in the same place. Like I can hear them, I know they're there. However, they don't seem to take notice of this carnage that's going on. So I'm here. At this point, it's like a big mess. So I'm calling out to them, trying to grab their attention. They don't seem to even notice me. Then I know my sister's an EMT. I had tried to call out to her thinking she was there because I heard her too. She was like making her rounds trying to check on the wounded or whatever. At this point, you gather it's kind of like a bomb attack, right? And I'm here and I could see her walking by. Not I can hear her, I could also see her walking by. So I know she's there and I'm grabbing her attention. She's not paying attention. I'm here with Oscar. I'm like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How do we cover for this? How do we get ourselves out of this situation? And you have this gentleman in the background of this dream chanting his victory. By the way, I will preface before I describe who he was. The Islamic faith does not in any way condone violence or terrorism within the teachings. As is the case with most faith-based practices, there are radicals. This individual appeared to be a radicalized Muslim or identified Muslim who was radical. Had carried this attack out because he was professing in Arabic, a language I do understand and speak. And he was basically professing the reason he had done this and how there were people in the party who were sinning and consuming alcohol, and he thinks he had committed some noble deed. And this is all happening at the same time. This dream sounds longer than it is, but probably was 30 seconds in total. Or a feeling of 30 seconds. Felt like a long time though. So I pick up, I say I have to get out of here. And I somehow run into my father, who's basically wondering what am I doing in this place at this time. And to avoid the conversation, I think, and to avoid whatever further effects will come of this event that has taken place, I just think of running. I don't know if I'm expecting another bomb to go off. I don't know what I was expecting, but I just start running. And as I'm running, coming across what appeared to be the freeway, what appeared to be a very large truck, and I could see this truck clearly. Mind you, I'm running in a straight line, but without my cane. I have to reemphasize that. I can see this truck coming straight for me, and just as I about feel it touch me, and I could see the color of the truck and everything, it had a brighter color, a fluorescent type reflection. I wake up. So it was an oddly graphic, very specifically detailed dream with so many layers, and me being able to see everything. So I think that poses the question, why was it that dream that was so oddly specific? And I've had many dreams before, and I just consumed them like I'd consume a regular day in my life.
So if you don't mind me asking, Naeem, I mean, I know that your memory is very poor. Did you have any, because dreams, this is something that I learned in psychology, what dreams are manifestation of events that, happened either in your mind or that you've witnessed actually personally. So do you, I don't know if your mind, either you had those thoughts in your mind or you witnessed like something similar to that.
Wow. I don't know. I've watched movies where explosions happen. I've watched movies where kids go to parties that their parents don't approve of. And it was a few days before that my mom and this aunt, she's a cousin, but we call her aunt for respect, that I bring up. It was a few days before that I was walking with them to get fresh air, in this quarantine situation, right outside of our home. So, yeah, I don't know if that's just a combination of all those. I could see where you're coming from, because a few days before that I had a really fear-inducing dream about the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic that there was a massive, we were at a mall, myself and my mother, going out to eat. Specifically, it was Tyson's Corner. I couldn't remember if it was Tyson's Corner Shopping Center or the Tyson's Galleria, but we were definitely at one of those locations. I think it was the Tyson's Corner Shopping Center because I remember saying I don't want to go to Coastal Flats because I'm not trying to catch COVID. And there was so much of a fear-induced feeling that hit me in that dream. But my sight consumption and everything was just as I typically am, light perceptive, blind. And yeah, I mean that was a dream that gripped me with a sensation of fear. This dream gripped me with all five senses plus some, if you will. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has perceived dreams in that way ever. Are there any memorable dreams any of you guys want to bring up? I know I died out, so I don't know if anyone had done that when I had disappeared there for a little while.
We all sort of have went around and told each dream, but I'm sure no one would mind going around again. I just mentioned that I don't really remember vivid dreams that I had when I was younger, maybe, and I don't really dream at a regular basis. But I'm really sorry. I think I have to go.
Thank you for
So
joining
got
us.
to run. I think that dream scared you off, right?
No, not at all.
Keep in contact, Sarah. We look forward to having you on future episodes. The political podcast that Jason Alamillo hosts, myself, yourself, and hopefully Zoe, if you can join us. We plan on doing a panel evaluating race in America and trends, and anything else that comes up. So viewers, please look out for that on the political podcast channel for Jason Alamillo. Sarah and Zoe, if you guys are interested in joining, please let us know what times avail or convenience you in the group chat. And Sarah, I'd love to further a conversation we did have off air. So give me a call, shoot me a text at any time because I want to look further into the laws you had mentioned. So reach out, please.
I will.
Thank you for joining, Sarah. And we look forward to having you in the future. Do you want to have any closing words? Is there anything you want to let our viewers know before you sign out for the time being? We'll definitely have you back on, though, in the future, if you don't mind.
I would love to be back on in the future. This was fun, and I'm looking forward to our political discussion. I think that's really relevant at these times right now.
Okay, well, let us know in the group chat what time works for you, and reach out to me individually. I'd like to talk to you about happenings in the Middle East. I know we were going to go down that road at off air earlier, so reach out for sure.
All right, bye.
Please take care. Bye-bye.
So Naeem,
yes.
So we were having this conversation about how blind people, So I'll save you. I'll give you a summary of what I said to Sarah because she asked a question about how we perceive the world and stuff like that. So when I lost my vision as a kid, again, I don't remember I don't remember this at all. But apparently, according to my fam, when I was a kid, I started I would graph people's faces or touch people's faces, and that's how I would identify them. But as I grew, I shed that and started going for I was able to identify people by their hands whenever I would shake them. I would also be able to if I was able to hear you from a distance, I would be able to pinpoint at least where you are and try to get to you to the best of my ability. I don't know how you perceive or got to know would you when people ask you do you want to feel my face to see how I am? Do you shake my hand? How did you perceive the world, and how would you navigate to those people if just because I know blind people are doing something very different.
Wow, that's a wholesome question. As rich and nutritious as Nature Valley granola bars, I guess. Very, very flavorful. I like that question. I could taste it. How do I, how did I perceive folks? Um, that's a good question. I don't remember. There were some folks who had their specific cologne, perfume that would help out, right? Um, I was a very annoying child in that there were folks who tried to play this "Can you guess who I am" type thing, and I admittedly I never really took kindly to that,
Me neither.
because for me, I'm gonna show you respect, so you have got to show me respect. You don't walk up to any sighted kid say, "Hey, can you guess who I am?" Look, it's different if it was a context. Hey, do you remember me? I know we met this one time a long time ago at this one event in this one situation, and I don't know that you remember me. I'm George. Do you remember me? I could be like, look, that's respectful because he's asking, hey, do you remember the person? But not like someone I see on a monthly, daily, weekly basis changing their voice. And, could you guess who I am? Could you guess who I am? Well,
Sometimes it's
you're making your
irritating.
voice kind of
Sometimes when
sound
I
like
like to have
Donald
fun,
Trump, so I hope I can't
yeah.
guess who you are.
Sometimes,
Go ahead.
sometimes when we're having fun, I don't mind doing it. But when it's like when I'm serious and like don't want to be messed with, people like I'm like, yo, like stop messing around. I'm not like.
I don't even see it as messing around. Now, maybe I'm cynical and negative in that way, but like for me, I don't think anyone has bad intentions, but it's just like why? It's not a productive part of the conversation. Hey, I am Jordan. I'm Natalie. I'm Michael. I'm Eric. I'm Juan. I'm whoever I am. Just say that. Or hey, how are you? Oh, hey, Uthman, how are you? How is everything? I'll know you by voice, right? But I think it's hard. It's hard to, for me. I emphasize for me. Everyone perceives things differently. That's one thing I have a difficulty swallowing because I just don't see it that individual showing me respect. The respectful ways you walk up to me. Hey, how are you? We shake hands. Maybe post COVID, instead of shaking my hand, what you got to do is you got to rest your hand on your heart solemnly and sincerely. Don't bow down, but sort of like lower your gaze and say greetings from my heart to yours. And that's a COVID healthy way of greeting others. So I don't know. I never took kindly to stuff like this. Could you guess who I am by shaking my hand, by finding by finding my bald spot, by if it's an uncle and he kisses me on the cheek, hey, could you tell by the scruff where I shaved my mustache, that patch. It's like we're all adults in the room. Even when I was a kid, it was just like no. Oh, I don't know if any of you guys ever had this experience. Elementary aged kids would come up to you when you're young. How many fingers am I holding up?
I hated that. Oh, by the way, I think we should get Zoe's viewpoint on this. Zoe, do you
Yeah,
have any
Zoe, fill
insight?
us in. And do you have any pet peeves, any things you experienced as a younger kid? I know. How do you identify in terms of blindness or visual acuity?
I would say visually and
Sorry, did you say visually impaired?
and for me it's not automatic. Yeah, and for me it's not always obvious that I'm visually impaired.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when people would ask or talk like this one time, because he was trying to show me that I had something on my face so I could wipe it off, but I didn't get it automatically because I couldn't tell where he was wiping it. And so I instead of doing it on like the right side, I went to the left, and so then they automatically thought that I was stupid. They didn't factor in that it could have it could be something to do with vision. So then they continued to tease me for like a couple of weeks. And I sort of stopped it by stepping on the guy's foot when I had the chance. But
You could have pulled the
it's stuff
Donald
like-
Trump and said you were being sarcastic. You know how he pulled that once. That was a horrible fail play. Don't do that. But he had talked about bleach and Clorox being disinfectants in the sun, and then he had said, "Well, I was being sarcastic. Does anyone around here not understand sarcasm?" And then he went and
That
spelled
was
Nobel
a good
Peace
try.
Prize or Nobel Prize. He spelled Nobel the wrong way, and then he emphasized that sarcasm failure again. But anyway, continue. Sorry about that. Just thought you could have pulled that. So you stepped on his foot.
Yeah. And then his friend tried to get up, but then he got the image, so he told him it was for me on my part. But another thing that's difficult for me is identifying.
So something.
Further. Oh no, what were you gonna say?
So something that I don't like. Naima, I don't know if you're gonna agree with me on this. Is when people say when I say, hey, where do I need to set this down, or where do I need to go? Like, do I need to go left or right? They're like, come over here or put it down here. And I'm like, okay, where is here or where is there? Like, can you be a little bit more specific?
I think generally it's annoying because people don't know how to
Or they
really
point.
talk to people with vision issues, and I think that's what I liked about Life and Leap and having not to explain, and then being around adults who automatically knew how to treat me.
I don't know. Just tell me right, left, north, south, east, west, and I'm good. I
No, but did you
always
get those
try
people
to
that-
inquire.
Did
Go ahead.
you get those people that say go over here or go over there or put it down there or put it down here? You're like, where's here or like where's there? Or my personal favorite, they point. They're like, put it over there to over there where I'm pointing. I'm like, where are you pointing?
Yeah. Wow. I did not know that was an experience that not only I experienced, but others. I would say another one of another pet peeve I do have is folks who, and I know they mean kind, or most of the time they mean kind, who think since I am blind, all of a sudden I am some like miracle worker or blessing or something like that, who who is going to become the next like big blind singer, artist, or something so amazing to fill or compensate for the deficit. And they always like to use terms like that. Well, God has gifted you with other things to compensate for your blindness. No, I think my experiences may be slightly different, giving me maybe a slightly different view or outlook on life. But my skills, whether I hone them or not, whether I've earned them or just kind of have them inherently, have nothing to do with my blindness. I think if I were sighted, I would still be just as articulate. I think if I were sighted, I would still be just as steady-handed and even-minded, and try to be as patient as possible. Maybe a little less patience, because blindness has taught me in some regards patience. But I think skills are honed because they're honed. Skills sometimes are earned through some experiences or sometimes a willingness to earn those skills. I'm not at all, the best at any musical inclination by any stretch of the imagination. Those who know me, Zoe, Oscar, and others, know that every time I sing, they want to plug their ears.
Or I
And
just tell you to stop.
or you just tell me to stop. I think part of that is because I choose all the songs that particularly tick you off, though. We just have
That's
very
true.
different tastes
By
in music.
the way, keep talking. I'm gonna go throw away my trash.
All right, then we need a full review on your experience, by the way. So you're gonna get back here and talk to us about that good food. I don't know. It's kind of like, look, I appreciate it, but I don't appreciate that you're, I don't know, expecting me to be some miracle worker or some amazing person with a compensated aspect because of deficit. Blindness is not a deficit. Blindness is a mere fact. It's pretty simple. It's just there for me anyway. And not being blind, I'd like to think I would almost be the same person that I am blind. So I think that's shallow, admittedly, in my opinion, and a little arrogant of people to think that there was a deficit that needed to be compensated, or to even think that I am supposed to be put on some higher expectation, some higher pedestal, because I have a skill that they assume I would otherwise not have had if I were sighted. I think that's a disadvantage and a disrespect to me as well. It's an arrogance on their part because they're like, oh well, yeah, because I'm sighted, I'm good enough that I don't deserve or need compliment. It's like, I know they don't think that way, but that's the perception, that's the vibe, that's the atmosphere, that's the inclinations they give off. Zoe?
I'm so sorry. You were breaking up.
Was I? Where did you lose me?
Your conversation, so I didn't quite hear. I guess what questions you want me to sort of answer, or what you want me to focus on? Like, what do you want?
I wanted to hear your response to what I was saying. Were you able to hear what I was saying or no?
Not really. It was in and out. So.
No problem. So basically, I will recap, and then if you have any thoughts, feel free to chime in. Basically, I was explaining how.
Oh, I'm back.
Hey, welcome, Oscar. I was explaining, and I had, according to Zoe, I had cut out horribly. So I was basically explaining how there are folks who, in all kind-heartedness, sort of assume that I should have, or I do have, an exquisite level of expertise in a particular field, whatever that may be, because I am blind, and there is a compensation for the deficit of blindness that the Lord has given me. And I think that's, I was saying, I think that's a disrespect to my character, because that's implying that I'm all of a sudden in some ways better than others and in some ways lacking. So I find that as a disrespect or an insult. I'm not expected to be some outstanding music person, or even not expected to be some incompetent and capable person. I'm just average. I am Naeem. I won't even use the word average. I'm Naeem. That's all. And for folks to put it as a compensation for a deficit type conversation, that's a disrespect to me, and that's arrogance on their part, because they're automatically walking in with the idea that I have a deficit. So and they're seeing themselves better. They're seeing themselves better than I am, and I don't think that's their intention. I know they're kind-hearted, but that's what they give off, or that's how I perceive it. So yeah, those were my thoughts. I wanted to hear your thoughts and Zoe's thoughts on commentary like that. I know it's a little provocative, it's a little controversial what I'm saying here, but everyone has
Yeah.
their point of view, and points of view wouldn't be points of view if they weren't controversial.
Yeah. Zoe, go ahead.
I think people turn to me more for issues over, but I think they just want answers, and I think we tend to be their only resource for information. Although I sometimes want to tell people who ask me too many questions to look it up, or before you ask me, look at these sources. I'm not sure if this is what you um,
Mhm.
but I
So
think it
going to
was
your,
correct. I'm
so
sorry.
I think you're cutting in and out. That's why I can't pick up if you finished or not.
Oh, I'm finished.
Oh, okay. Naeem, the conversation that you had with, music and client, it's funny. I don't make it known right away that, I know how to play piano, like semi, because it's been like over 10 years since I even touched the piano. But when I do make it known, they're like, oh my gosh, you know, do you know if you could play this song? All you need to do is listen and then just play along. And here's the thing: when I was in piano lessons, and because I did take them as a child, I quite frankly didn't care. I just viewed it as something, just something cool that I could do, outside of the house. I would take notes here and there, but sometimes I wouldn't understand the notes, to play because, when you're trying to play a song or learn a song to play on the piano, you automatically have like a music sheet. I didn't have that advantage. Like I had to use, listen to stuff audioly and or write it down myself, but my notes were not all that great either. And I'm not that type of person where I can listen to things audioly and play along. I need to, if I had the advantage of knowing that, Music Braille was a thing or is a thing, I would have hopped up on that opportunity because I guarantee you I would have taken things more seriously. But anyways, people tell me like, oh my gosh, all you need to do is, play, and I'm like, no, because it's been years since I touched the piano, so like, it'll come back to me, yeah, but um, I'm not gonna like, play something like I'm not gonna play like the big Beethoven songs like right off the bat. I'll probably start with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star because that's an easy song, but I wouldn't do anything big stuff like that. But yeah, I guess me personally, I just make it like I don't make it known right off the bat because I know that I'm gonna get, oh my gosh, you're so talented. Maybe you should play for us one of these days. But I, remind them, I'm like, hey, but it's been, over 10 years. So, that's something that I always,
I want to learn how to play the piano and maybe other instruments, not because it's expected of a blind person or anything of that nature. I want to learn how to play it because I feel like it's a really soothing instrument to know how to play, and I always envision, one day, I don't know, maybe when I'm 30 years old or some random time, I'm sitting at like some like nice restaurant playing the piano for them because I become skilled and qualified for any reason. I have my my nice ice water next to me. I'm playing this piano, and I don't know, maybe I get a note or a letter from you know from a known I guess pianist is the right word. here in the United States or in Europe or in some prominent place who takes me under their wing, and I don't know, maybe I become this big pianist, and it may start out as a hobby, but it will definitely be
I mean,
be
there are.
a good pickup
Yeah.
line for the girls, if you will. No, I'm joking around.
No.
Be a good skill to have, and a good anxiety reliever and soother.
We're live again.
Hey guys, hey y'all, welcome back to No Nonsense Podcast. This is the Dreams episode, part 2. We had technical difficulties, so definitely see part 1. Link will be in the description below for part 1, and in part 1, link will be in the description below for part 2. So when you upload both of them, Oscar, if you don't mind throwing the link for the other in each respective one. Description. Algorithm should take care of directing people from part 1 to part 2, but it'd also just be helpful if we could throw the link to part 1 in the description here and the link to part 2 in the description of part 1.
You see, this is where we actually do need to have an editing team because, if we had an editing team, it would have been no problem. We just combine the two together. Bada bing, bada boom, there you go. But anyways,
drop your comments below if you have any suggestions for good folks who want to be editors. Send us your resume, and maybe we'll talk to y'all. So that's something we need.
Yeah. By the way, let's try to. I know that we started a new recording and everything, but let's try to wrap this up just because I'm trying to crash early. I don't know because I gotta early rise tomorrow.
Okay, reasonable.
So let's go live. Let's do this parter. Maybe 30, 40 minutes more.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Is that fine with you? Is that fine with you, Zoe?
Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say I think I was gonna have to go around 10:30 so that I can take a shower and get ready for bed. Not too late. So.
What time is it anyway?
It's like 10:05.
Okay, so we'll shoot until 10:30. Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah,
Zoe,
please be our time. Please be our timer.
Yeah, or whenever you need to go, and then whenever you need to run, you can just leave, and Oscar and I will wrap up the conversation if need be, or we'll wrap it up with you on the line, and that'll be that. So, I was saying piano. I would learn it for all the reasons, but not the reasons that blind folks or that people think blind folks should know piano. I'll learn it because it's soothing. It's therapeutic. It's something I think I'll enjoy. I made some joke about it being a pickup line for girls. Hey, I know to play the piano. But more important than that for me is it's a good skill to have. It's refining. It's a polished. It adds a fine characteristic to any gentleman or young lady. So it's something to add to my resume, my portfolio. Maybe I become a Renaissance man. Who knows? But yeah, that's why I want to learn to play the piano. Not because of folks who are like, oh my gosh, these blind people are so good at playing the piano. It's like so cool, So.
Yeah. I actually
Are you musically inclined? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I played piano when I was younger as well, and I think I mostly wanted to do it because it was fun, and my grandmother had a piano in her house, in her apartment, so I used to just bang on it, but then I decided I wanted to have lessons so that I could actually play the music. But then after a while, I sort of got bored of it, and so my last big thing was playing. I forget it has a name, but it was like the, when like it's a common intro when the bride walks down the aisle. For my grandparents' 50th birthday.
Violin? Viola?
It's like dun, 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 dun.
Oh, it's not what I was thinking of. The one that goes, "Here comes the bride, here comes the bride."
No,
that one?
No, it's like it's something fifth. It's someone's symphony. Like
Yeah, I think I know
It's
what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. The instrument doesn't come to mind me at the moment. So my favorite pastime of playing the piano when I was in elementary school. So Naeem, again, please clarify that if Fairfax County did this, but we had something in elementary school called specials or extra electives as they call them.
yeah, they had
special,
we had physical education, music
Music,
class,
which I
exactly. So I would always
orchestra.
so for some weird reason I
I
always
played the
struggled.
viola, by the way. Go ahead,
Yeah.
continue.
So for some weird reason, I always struggled to like learn the saxophone, like the other, like the bass or whatever they would have in the music class. I would always struggle with that stuff. Like,
I want to learn how to play the saxophone. You think you could give me some lessons?
dude, you're asking the wrong person. Didn't you just hear what I just said? That I struggled. So like, I guess I'll let it slip, or I let the music teacher know. I'm like, hey, if I know that you play the piano. I don't know if you mind me. Like, I know that you have a strict policy with teacher with students on the piano, but I'm really strong with the piano. Just give me the letters that I need. Give me the notes, and I can play it. And she was like, "Oh, you know how to play piano?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "Okay, instead of you doing things on the not the saxophone, the xylophone. There you go, the xylophone, and the bass, whatever it was. I forgot what that instrument was called. Not the bass, but it's like it is. It starts with bass. It's not bass guitar. It's probably, I don't know what it was, but at the end
There
of the
is a
day,
bass, like a cello, a bass.
yeah. But it wasn't that either.
Mm.
But So yeah, like so she just threw me on the piano, and then that's where I remained the whole entire year playing the piano in elementary school. Um, Learned. You know what my mistake was?
What's that mistake? We all have mistakes.
So when I was in middle school, I enrolled in chorus.
Mm. I
Never
did too.
again. Never
I did
again.
too.
Never
I
again.
could.
me too. See, I loved it though.
I liked it, but whenever we had a project, meaning singing solos or duets, since I'm naturally an introvert, I never talked to anyone in class about hey, I'm a very shy person. Do you mind do you want to do a duet together or something like that? I never approached anyone about doing that. So when I had to so I just preferred to do it on my own, not realizing that that I had to sing in front of the class, and I was like, oh heck no.
See, I had the opposite problem. I hadn't made enough of an effort because it was a class I was interested in. I took in 8th grade. And I was gonna take it again in senior year, but there were too many options. So senior year, I had recommitted. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this seriously, and then I'm gonna take voice lessons once I graduate high school and work on my vocals and become a good singer." Right? So I took it more seriously senior year of high school. But in 8th grade, I had taken the class, eighth, ninth, I think, maybe 10th. I can't remember. But I took the class for a couple years. Is the point. And at that time, I just kind of saw it as an elective, as an opportunity to relax from all my honors courses, the English honors or whatever nonsense courses I would take, or the civics government stuff. And so it was for me an opportunity to take a break, more so than an opportunity to learn a skill of great need. And that's a regret I hold that I can turn around. I can maybe meet a voice coach or a voice instructor or something, and I don't know, maybe I'll start singing a little better, and Oscar will be able to stand my
So
singing.
so here's the thing. So I remember also so when you start, because I did chorus in 6th grade. What I ended up doing, because of my religious background, Jehovah's Witness background. I don't know if I said that on air, but uh, information that you guys should know. Um, when you start, when you go and when you start off that school year, the teacher's like, hey, you know, we have two big concerts. One is a winter Christmas themed, and if you guys go, and it's like, I think it was like 70 or 80% of your grade or something like that. I can't remember at the time, you know. And if you don't go, then you automatically, get an F. And I was like, oh, okay, then I have to like make it clear. So, I let her know, and she understood. She was like, yeah, you just need to have, just write a note, saying, explaining your why you're not going to be able to attend, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, I told my family, hey, we have a winter concert. It's gonna be Christmas themed. Please, write a note. So she accepted the note and everything, but dude, she marked me down one letter grade. So instead of getting
Yeah,
an A,
because those concerts
getting an A, like instead of getting an A in the whatchamacallit, in the semester, because I remember that in middle school they used to divide it up. Middle school and high school for us, they would divide it up by 18 weeks. The first 18 weeks, I got a solid B. I was like, because I didn't attend the concert, didn't join in the rehearsals.
So I think I don't know if religiously you could have done this, if you participated in the rehearsals, but didn't actually go to the concert itself, or were they singing songs that were Christmas themed?
50-50, but again, it becomes a conscious thing.
Okay. Yeah, because the thing is, I know those like winter concerts and stuff are typically a big grade in those types of courses. So
No, yeah,
that's
but
probably what had to happen. I don't know
no,
that
but
you
I
could have
turned,
worked
but
out
I,
an exemption. I think you could have, but
I turned it around though, because in the spring, attended the rehearsal, attended the concert.
you attended whatever they wanted you to attend, right?
Exactly.
Well, because it wasn't Christmas themed.
Although there was an ancient Catholic song, can't remember at the present moment what it was. I don't remember how I felt with that. I think I just just went along with that one song, because the rest was actually fine.
Yeah, there were lots of songs that were kind of
Christian.
themed around certain faith-based backgrounds in some of the choir courses. It's hard because you can argue schools should always remain secular, but somehow there are always flakes and nuggets of religion that sort of find their way into curriculum somehow. I don't know. It's just an observational note I'm making here. I'm not criticizing or supporting or condoning. I'm not condoning or condemning. But yeah, I just find that interesting. I don't know if either of you guys have thoughts on that.
I ended up quitting. Well, go ahead, Zoe.
Go ahead, Zoe.
Oh, my church has a thing about putting like the crap back in Christmas. Because a lot of times with the winter concerts at a lot of the Christmas music didn't really mention God, so it was more about like family and community rather than like spirituality, because it's like such a pop culture thing, I guess, in terms of like sales and the Hallmark Channel and all of that stuff that doesn't actually mean anything if you're truly Christian faith.
I mean, things change, because I remember. My sister used to, I guess what they call strings. The strings where you learn like bass, viola, violin, and all that stuff. Because I remember going to her concerts, but they weren't winter themed. They weren't. Or Christmas themed for the winter ones.
It was
Which
an
I find-
orchestra-based concert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we had played. Like I said, I was in the orchestra. I played viola, which is like a little larger than a violin.
I thought it was
I don't
smaller.
know.
No.
I remember it being slightly larger. I could be wrong. But
By the way,
we had played Ode to Joy. Go ahead.
Please relay your experience, because that's another thing. The reason why I didn't try strings was because, I felt, me personally, I would have struggled.
So my first instructor, may he rest in peace, he's since passed away due to a house fire. He had passed away actually in the middle of our instruction. So we reserved times 9:30 every Thursday morning where him and I would do one-on-one instruction, and he'd show me how to properly play the instrument, and it was really good the way it had worked out. And we had trained on how to play the instrument one-on-one, right? And the instruction was really, really good. It was quite enjoyable instruction. It was very meaningful. There was a lot I had gained from it, so on and so forth. However, after he had passed away, the dynamic I had with the new instructor just wasn't fully there. She was a great instructor. She had a lot to offer. I had a lot to learn and hopefully earn in the skill set of playing a strings instrument. But the dynamic wasn't there. I had done 2 years, and then 3 years actually, I think. But 2 years where I had worked with him, with the first instructor, kind gentleman. Again, may he rest in peace. May his soul find happiness and good spirit. And the second instructor and I worked up until 6th grade. I didn't continue to pursue, although I should have. It was skill. It was a thing where pardon me, practice does make perfect. You have to work up to it. And I had gotten to an intermediate level. I was no Beethoven by any stretch of the imagination, but I was decent. I could probably be one of those guys who sits on a bench in New York City and plays. Get a few pennies in my bucket.
Pianist, but I guess
he was a pianist. Sorry. Okay, I wasn't no. Basically, I wasn't no pro. Is what I was trying to say. Bad example. But I was definitely. I could probably put a bucket in front of me, sit in front of the subway or the metro, and get a couple pennies, couple coins. But all in all, it's something I should have continued or at least transferred into instruments of another fashion, because it's very therapeutic. It's quite an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it is. By the way, Zoe, are you still there? Because I know that you said they had to go.
I'm still there. It's 10:25 now. So.
Oh, it's because I thought that you left because I can't open the chat before I'm not going to lose another recording. Sorry, Naeem.
We will have to do a test run and see if that's actually the case, because like I told you, when I opened the chat, it says Oscar stopped recording, although you never actually did stop recording. So we'll test that out as a little segment, hopefully, see where that takes us. But yeah, I don't know. What is everyone's thoughts on music's therapeutic properties?
I view it as therapeutic. Well, again, I just view it for fun. So, again, now there are regrets that that I have, that if it's the what. By the way, Naeem, I think this is a good episode. Maybe we should do this either tomorrow if we have time, or because again, our content, we literally have not filmed anything this week.
Yeah. Mhm. We look forward to also talking about Brill and Friends in a future segment. But anyway, you had content, a proposal for tomorrow,
or something like that. What if statements.
Oh, as in what if what if something major in our life didn't happen? How do we think that could have impacted us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair. That would be fun. So we want in on that or nah? You don't want any of us guys in our insanity.
No, are we doing that as a closing statement?
No,
If
it's
you
gonna-
want to give us,
Or
we
that
want
is
to do a whole go ahead.
episode.
a
An
whole
episode.
podcast on that.
I think it would be fun. Is that something you like in on, or do you want to give us a closing what if tonight and then just be a teaser for what we will whip up tomorrow or whenever?
I think it could be a fun closing, and then it would be fun to do another one.
Okay,
Because it'll definitely start conversation.
So
okay,
I know that you
so
have
we'll
to go.
use
So
closing as a conversation starter, and then we will film another one hopefully.
yeah.
when
So
we
since
can.
you have to go in 10 minutes. Do you want to give us your what if now, so that way him and I can analyze it, and then.
And then we will offer ours in future episodes. We'll probably do lots of them. But anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead and offer it.
Shoot, now I have to think of one.
You're like, now I gotta think of one. Why did I take this off the
Why
road?
did I suggest this? Never.
Yeah. You had the chance to run away.
I said, what if you didn't have siblings?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Naeem, do you want to take that? Because I know that your siblings are a bit interesting, to say the least.
Amazing though. If I were an only child, I think there would be more loneliness. Although I should get better at really getting to know my siblings.
Exactly. I'm like, you're technically alone anyway. So.
You can put it that way. But yeah, kind of sort of. I think there would be maybe more expected of me. Like, I don't mean that in the wrong way. My parents expect a lot of me, or expect me to earn the accomplishments that anyone would earn, cited or not my age. But I think there would be more day-to-day requests from my parents. Tech support requests, and granted, there would be less requests coming from my siblings. But there would be more of that. I think I would fill the shoes of maybe myself and someone else. I don't know. It's really hard to say, but I do know it's so much happier with my siblings. I know folks who are only children, and they must be amazing at adjusting to that situation. I don't know how I could have or would have adjusted to something like that. I just don't. I need the energy, the noise, even if I may not be participating in their discourse, but I need the energy in the house. So I guess, what if there'd be more expected of me in terms of, like, I would have to be the medical student in the house. I'd have to be the doctor in the house. Because in Arab culture, at least one of your children have to go on and go to medical school. And I was never the med school type, never the science type in general. So I probably wouldn't have ever gone on to medical school. But that would have been expected of me more.
Yeah, because I know that your older sister's medical, and I think your younger sister's studying to be a medical person later down the road, if I'm not mistaken.
Professional. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So to become a medical professional. So yeah, that's a really, really hard question. Maybe we'll have to dissect that. We do want to do a future episode on siblings and our relationships with them. Yeah. So Oscar or Zoe, I don't know if one of you guys want to take that very hard question.
I'll take it, I guess. Next. I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to echo what you said, because granted, because my mom has depended on my sister and my brother to do things for her. Um, so I may ended up carrying that boatload. Some just because my mom needs all the support she needs. Granted, she says that she has everything under control, but she really doesn't. So, my siblings and I always talk about, hey, we need to help out our mom just because, there's a lot of stress in her life. I technically would have been my mom's main support, support beam as they say before. So yeah, that's if I didn't have any siblings, I would have been her support system. And me personally, I probably wouldn't have anyone to talk to, I guess. Even though I'm an
You wouldn't have
introvert
your
and
siblings to vent to when your mom frustrates you, right?
huh?
Have your siblings to vent to when your mom frustrates you, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I
You
was
wouldn't
about
have your
to,
siblings to vent to talk to when your mom frustrates you?
exactly. I was about to say that too. But anyways, Zoe, uh,
I think I agree with the both of you. I would be um, a lot more lonely, especially because of COVID, and I would be stuck at home with my parents by myself. I mean, I would have a dog, but there's so much a dog can provide. I think there would be a lot of pressure on me um, to do well. And also, I was shy as a younger girl. My brother, who is only about like 2.5 years younger than me, would be the first person he would be like an automatic person I could play with. I think just loneliness and more pressure.
yeah. Anyway,
So, I guess in quick closing, just to talk about siblings. How many siblings do each one of us have? I have 3: Ashar, Inas, and Ahmed. And
I
Ahmed,
have
pardon.
I have
So 3
two.
siblings.
I have two, John and Alma.
I have two, Noah and Chase, and I actually prayed for Noah because I wanted another baby.
Oh,
So
so
Noah's
it's two
younger than you.
brothers.
Yeah, I have two brothers.
How is that? I want to get your perspective. I guess this can be our closing segment as well. How is it with growing up with two brothers? Because my sister always, I grew up with two brothers. Blah 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 blah. She had to be the tomboy of the family to take us both on because, him and I as kids were very violent with her, and you know she would like punch it. Like she was able to knock us silly, but that's her fighting nature, because again, when she was a kid, she was a tomboy. Now she's a little bit more classied up, but when we were kids, she was the one that would dominate us. Still does to a certain extent, but
Yeah. I'm not sure um, if you're the oldest, but I'm
I'm the
the oldest
middle.
of my I'm the oldest, so I think I mostly did the bossing around. And I was definitely a girly girl growing up. But I still liked going on adventures. And then with my youngest brother, I did a lot of um, babysitting. So I view myself as sort of like a mini mom for him. But as I'm just really jealous of my cousins because all of my female cousins have sisters. So I think if I ever have children, I would want to have like my father have two boys so that he can observe like a sister. But I think I just like complaining about having two brothers, and I actually enjoy it, especially as they get older. My 10-year-old brother, well, actually, no, he's 11, but he's at the stage where he doesn't quite know that he has to wear deodorant. So awful right now, but I love them. And
Yeah, I'm the middle child, so my sister's actually I can actually vouch for what you're saying. She's actually because my mom would go in and out of the country. In fact, you know, um, as her job as an export and import business woman. But my sister would be our go-to whenever my brother and I would go out. We would always text her, hey, this is where we're going. We'll be back, this and this time. She'd be like, okay. She would be our emergency contact when my mom is out of the country. So she would be that mother that she would be our second mother, because also she would be an easy person to talk to. And I remember she would also discipline us. She would actually take that serious tone with my brother whenever he messed up with some decisions that he would make. So she would just she would be our mother, our second mother per se in that regard. Naeem, what about you? I know that what are your well, maybe you're not the right person to ask, because whenever we have this conversation, you go, I don't know.
So my older sister's always kind of played the mother role for us. I remember there was one time really stuck with me. I think I was in 8th grade. I somehow, I guess, ran into a tree or something like that, and really scarred up the side of my face when I was at school. Well, I came home. My mom and my dad were both out working, and my older sister had asked, and I guess her first instinct was, "Were you in a fight? Like, what insanity were you up to?" And I decided to be dumb and not respond, give her the impression that I was in some sort of fight. And then she takes this motherly tone, and I'm like, oh man, no, I'm just messing around. I'm just messing around. But yeah, 2 boys and 2 girls we are. She's the oldest. I'm second oldest. My younger sister's younger than me, and my younger brother is 18. He's 18. Inas, my younger sister. So Ahmed's 18. Inas is 20, 21. No, she's turning 21 July 31st. I am 22, and Azhar, my older sister, is 24. She's 1996, April 8th, so I think she's 24.
Yeah, because I'm 23.
So yeah, it's always been 2 boys, 2 girls in our household. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 boys, 2 girls for us. So.
My sister Alma is 27, 1993. I'm 1997, and my brother's 1999 of April. I'm January, and then my sister's June.
So John is 21 already.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff. So what did you munch on for dinner? I know you said you had Peruvian food. Tell us about it. Must have been killer good. Did you get yuca, chicken? What you had?
It was Peruvian style chicken sandwich, but I don't know if it was because when you get it with those DoorDash or those Uber Eats apps, some things aren't the best when you eat them with those apps
get cooled down.
They get cold and dry but it fills the tummy.
That's all that matters, right?
Well, anyways,
it's really good stuff, yeah.
All right, Zoe, we want to be respectable of your time, so thank you for joining us. I know it started off with James. That's what I love about our podcast. It's actually literally no nonsense. We try to stick to a theme, but one theme leads to another. Wow, no nonsense that really has a new meaning in our life, Naeem.
Well, that's the intention of podcast. No podcast is supposed to be focused on talking about the same thing for an hour, 2 hours, unless it's something you really want to dive deep in. But what a podcast
it depends on what
just...
podcast you want, because there are some wrestling podcasts, that are strictly like wrestling, even though like they're fans of like something else, and they're like, oh, I'm a fan of this, but this is a wrestling podcast, so we'll just keep it at wrestling. Sports, they're also talk about sports, strictly, but
I'm pretty sure within the conversation of sports, they shift from topic to topic, or start talking about football while talking about basketball randomly sometimes, or no?
It depends. It depends on the situation. I can talk about this off air just because it's a very, very controversial conversation right now, so I'd rather not talk about it on air.
Controversial.
It
How are
is.
sports controversial? You either like the team or you don't.
Well, with the organization that I'm a fan of in the football world, it's going through some interesting times right now. So
We'll have to do an episode on that. How about that?
true. Anyways, all right. Naeem, where can they find you?
Please feel free, everyone, to reach out to me via email. I enjoy sharing long and intellectual discourse with folks. I like to dig deep, to dive deep. So reach out to me. My email address is nm, as in New Mexico, nm@gmail.com. Once again, that's nma, b as in boy, uel, hawa@gmail.com. nmabulhawa@gmail.com. So nmabuelhawa@gmail.com. Thank you.
Zoe, any social media that you would like to put out there?
I guess just.
If not, no problem.
If not, it's no
sorry, go ahead.
problem. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess not.
I think you were going to say something. I cut you off. Sorry about that.
No.
Okay, you're fine. All right then. So folks, I'm Oscar Josue Montiel. You can find me on Twitter at OscarJMontiel37. My YouTube channel, even though it's inactive due to this no nonsense podcast, I'm trying to think of topics that I could discuss on my own to post on my own YouTube channel. Is Oscar Josue Montiel. You can email me at Oscar, the letter J, MONTIEL 37@gmail.com. Until then, guys, this was the No Nonsense Podcast. Please like, subscribe, go to your settings and turn on notifications whenever we drop new videos. And we will see you guys next time.
Notification bell, bam. Thank you all for joining us. It's really appreciated. You guys are amazing. Thanks, y'all. Thanks.